There is
So,
some
yeah,
development.
related to that, we have seen, and you have been also closely following the development that has been there, you know, on social media and other news, how these people have blocked the way, and nothing has happened, you know, in terms of, you know, measures, whether to arrest them or to take any legal action, because this is an outright illegal action in the United States. And you have an interesting analysis, what would have happened if it was really something that the US was against. So just dive us into it.
Yeah, so what is happening is, thank you very much even for introducing it. So what is happening is that in Seattle, we are in Seattle, in Washington. Seattle is in Washington, or some other people, they call it Seattle, or, you know, Seattle, or something like that, in Washington, where there is supporters of TPLF. You know, these people, they call themselves supporters of TPLF. They are not happy with the leadership of TPLF. So they say, why did they sign a peace agreement? And I remember yesterday we spoke here that there will be sabotage, you know, to the agreement, because the way the agreement was drafted, it gives Ethiopia all the powers, actually, even though it is said to be an agreement, but it looks like a concession. You know, it is actually a concession giving all the power back to Ethiopia, because that was the right thing. Actually, that is the right thing that should have been done. And so the United States definitely is not happy with this, because remember, the United States has been, and the West, the whole West is the United States definitely represents the West, is the flag bearer. You know, all these Europeans and all the other groups, they just follow what the United States does, because these are all Europeans and Anglo-Saxons, and they want to stay, you know, in control of the world, definitely. So they are not happy about this. They are not happy with this agreement. Number one, because it was drafted by Africans. Number two, they were not included. And the way the agreement was stated is that it rejects any interference, you know, any support by external forces. And by external forces, definitely, the drafters of this agreement were meaning the United States and the West, because they're the ones who have been interfering in this agreement. So what is happening in Seattle is that these supporters of TPLF, after this agreement, I think a lot of them read it, they claim that they are coming on the streets to protest this agreement. They are dissatisfied. But if you look at the manner in which they are protesting, and you compare it to what happened in 2020 with the Black Lives Matter, which everyone will be able to see once we start sharing these videos and analyzing even the pictures, because we are going to do a forensic audit. We are going to audit these pictures. But what we are trying to connect here is the understanding which we have from the workings of neocolonialism, because it is strategic. United States and its institutions have always been hypocritical in how they operate. On one side, they are talking about human rights. On the other side, they have their media is starting wars around the globe, and they're killing millions of people in Iraq, in Afghanistan, Somalia, bombing Yemen, you know, in Pakistan, you know, with drones and killing people. So this is the nature of neocolonialism. And our argument is based on the analysis, actually, on the learnings, on the experience that we have gained with the workings of neocolonialism, but majorly based on the work which was already done by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah published, you know, a lot of work, you know, at length. He published hugely on this subject. It is a recurring theme in his work, even when you read Africa Must Unite, if you read towards colonial freedom, if you read numerous works which he published, but the major work which he dedicated to this, because he wanted the revolutionaries to understand how neocolonialism works, even the next generations which are coming. And so he published a book just dedicated to neocolonialism. And that book is called Neocolonialism, The Last Stage of Imperialism. That book was published in 1965. When it was published, the book, the United States protested. The West, all the West protested against this book. And they said Nkrumah has to go because he was exposing the nature and their hypocrisy and how they work, their institutions, you know, the type of institutions that are coming to colonize in the name of freedom and talking about independence. These videos that we are going to show have been circulating on the platforms on Twitter to show us that these people are protesting, you know, to show us that the people are protesting against the agreement. They are protesting against the agreement that was signed between the tplf and the Ethiopian government. So this is what we want to look at. We want to look at why these people are protesting and make our own analysis. Because like we said, do not believe what the media tells you. Do not believe what you see on the mainstream media. Go in the background, analyze it for yourself. Use the experience which you have. Use the experience which you have as a Pan-Africanist and analyze the information for yourself, okay? And reach a conclusion. Today, freedom has been given to us, okay? We have freedom of information. We have the ability, you know, to get this information. So we should be able to filter the information when it comes, you know, to us, because there is a deliberate strategy out there to misinform the people. So Mahlet, can you bring me that video on the screen so that our people can be able to see what we are trying to talk about in this situation? Okay. So let me play this video and then we will take it from there.
We cannot hear you, Kwame.
I was saying that I want people to watch carefully, because I want to come back and analyze these videos very well, very well, so that you can understand whether this was a staged event, or it is really people have a grievance. They have a grievance about this this agreement which was signed, which was, you know, championed by Africans themselves. And if they have a grievance, are they really allowed to demonstrate on the interstate, on the interstate and interstate highway in the United States? Is it really allowed? Can the United States really allow this situation like this to happen in their country? So that is what we are trying to come to. Now, now we have watched that video. Mahlet, can you allow me to share this one?
Have you shared it? Yeah.
Stop bombing people in Ethiopia.
So I want you to look at the policeman. You see the policeman, how he's behaving?
Yeah, yeah,
You see
exactly.
the policeman?
Relaxing
So
and
guys,
walking.
yes. if you look at the now, if you look at the first video, I'm going to share some pictures. If you look at the first video, you will see that in the first video, when these people were moving and the police came from this in front where they are standing right now. By the time the police saw them, they had not reached where they are standing right now. If you look at the picture, because I told you that we are doing a forensic audit to understand an event which occurred because it is supposed to occur, because people are grieved, and an event, we want to differentiate between an event which is staged and an event which is, you know, real, that people are grieved. And it is not a group of people who have been gathered somewhere and then they have been staged somewhere to say that they are grieved, but rather when this staging has behind it the so-called protest, it has behind it a more sinister, you know, motive, hidden, something, some sinister agenda is hidden behind it, or even some cowardice, you know, because I believe that looking at what happened, you know, in South Africa and Pretoria over the weekend last week, this week which is going since the start of the week, is that it was a clear signal, a clear message was sent to the West that by the Africans, that we do not need you in this continent. We do not need you guys to come and give us problems in this continent. We have had enough. So it was a clear message. Even when you are talking about what happened, that the East African Regional Force decided to deploy in the Congo, and they kept quiet. This is a sign by the Africans that we have had enough. We have had, you know, the United Nations in the Congo for the last 60 years. It has failed to stabilize this, you know, this region. It has failed to stabilize the Congo, the eastern part of the Congo. So this is a signal and a clear message to the West by the Africans that we are tired of this, and we are going to take matters in our own hands. And this is what happened even in the 1940s, that Africans were saying that we can't run our continent like this. Now we need to be independent because you people have failed to run our political affairs. You are telling us that you came here to bring, you know, civilization, but what we are seeing is that you are exploiting our resources and you are making us slaves in our own continent. We are working and you are taking our resources and taking the cash crops. We are just farming for you to feed Europe. So they took matters in their homes. And so this is what I see that Africans even are trying to do even today. So let us look at the video and we will go back, we'll look at this video, but we will go back to the pictures again and analyze it. Now we are seeing that these people are standing at these, you know, markings which they have put even in the road. They have put this marking in the roads. So we are asking ourselves, when did they get time to put these markings in the road? Okay, when did they get time to put these markings in the road? If they have just arrived, they have just arrived. And now if they have just arrived, how, you know, because in the first video we saw that they were arriving and the police was standing where these guys are sitting right now. How could a police even allow people to stand in a highway? In the United States, this is not allowed. And especially for the black people. Black people are not allowed to do this. They immediately come out with a lot of force because in the United States, they fear black people. There's a lot of fear that has been planted in black people in the United States. that whenever black people, try to do something which is protesting, demonstration, immediately they bring out, paramilitary police, with gear, armed with gear and as if they are going to war, and tear gas and military vehicles. You see, you have seen how they killed George Floyd, unarmed, unarmed. But here we are, we have black people. They are sitting in the road, and look at what the police is doing. The police is not doing anything to them. The police is actually supervising them. You see, he's just talking to them. He's just talking to them free. So we ask the questions. How did these guys even come to paint in the road, put their markings, to express their grievances with their markings on a highway, which has cars? Imagine, I want you to look at the cars which are moving on this road.
Yeah.
These cars are moving. These cars, you see the cars on the other side of the road are moving at 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. You see, the cars are moving at 60, 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. This is a highway. So when did they get time, these guys, to put markings in this road, if this thing was not planned? So these are tactics of the CIA, the FBI, and the United States, how they work together. You see, and all this is because of the failure that has happened, that they have been rejected. Now they're trying to see how they can sabotage. They can sabotage the peace agreement. They want to use these guys and say, oh, these guys are demanding for accountability, integrity, the same thing which we spoke about yesterday. So these guys, they are saying that these guys who are the supporters of tplf are demanding accountability for the atrocities in Tigray. And so we should drag the Prime Minister Abiy and his government to The Hague, to the International Criminal Court. So this is what is coming, that these guys are trying to do. But it is all staged. This is all staged. So this means trying to sabotage the government and find a way of infiltrating the government in Ethiopia and plant some puppets in the government. This would be at the next stage that we are seeing here. So let us continue and look at the video again.
Yeah, look at the police, totally relaxed, just walking around.
Yeah, I think you can see the police guy.
Yeah,
you can see the police guy. But imagine how they handled George Floyd. Imagine how they treat black people, how they have been treating the black people.
Even the Black Lives Matter.
Yes, even the Black Lives. It's very good that we are going to show the video from the Black Lives Matter.
Stop farming Tigray in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to emphasize again is that this event is not a spontaneous event. This was planned very well. You cannot show up on a highway spontaneously and then you are left to do as you want. If this was if this was black people who are doing something on their own accord and they are trying to present a grievance, I promise you they would bring a paramilitary here. They would bring even breakdowns to pull those cars out of the road quickly. quickly so that people can pass, because this is a road where cars are moving at, you know, 40 to 80 kilometers per hour. But because it was staged, we have the police even supervising them, encouraging them to go ahead with what, you know, with what they are doing. So we see them standing, you know, at the place where they have put markings to show that they are demonstrating. So Mahlet, let me share another. I will share another picture. I want to go ahead and share another picture.
Really interesting for our audience to make. We don't have to just consume what the media brings or what the social media brings. It all goes back to, as you said, to that basics, what Kwame Nkrumah has put in his book. We have to understand the guises of, you know, the different forms of neocolonialism, how it appears, to study and question everything, not just to consume. Because one good thing is the imperialists have been very consistent in their methods. It's just us who are not learning from our mistakes or from our history.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let me bring this up. Let me bring this up so that we can see. Yeah, so have you shared the picture?
Yeah, I shared. Is this the Black Lives Matter, or is it the same? It's one in Seattle, right?
No, it's in Seattle. It's a picture in Seattle.
Yeah, we can see it. It's shared.
Yeah, so if you look at this picture now here, you can see that those people who were standing, look at the first pictures which we sent and we saw at the videos. For example, a picture like this, a picture like this, you see that they are standing where the markings are in the roadside. Okay.
Yeah.
In the first picture, these people have not even reached where the markings are. Can you see my mouse? How it is moving?
Yeah, we see.
So these so-called police allowed these people even to continue coming. It just stood here. The police just stood here and allowed them to do whatever they want. This is not how the police works in the United States. They would have told them immediately that stop, you can't continue beyond this. But the police stood here and allowed them to continue. You see the car, even the police car is still there. Look at the police guys. They are just standing here supervising. You see them in the United States. If it is black people, they came, extended, and even sat in the road. They were allowed. So this is complete staged event.
Yeah,
completely staged, and they are even supervising. You see where they are standing.
Yeah.
Remember, I told you that in the first picture, they were around the car. The car is still in the same position.
Yeah.
The mirror, the markings which they are put in the road, they have not even reached. These guys are just coming. So this thing was put before these people came. The one you are seeing in the road, that is number one. The police has even here had come to allow them to do whatever they're doing. That is why the police came and parked here in this position. You see? And they moved in front further. The police decided even to close the car and come and stand here and supervise them and let them do whatever they want. So that means these people are not acting on their own accord. These people are not acting on their own accord. These people are being supervised to do whatever they are, and they have even given them the media attention to go ahead and do whatever, you know, and do whatever they are doing. They have been allowed to go and do whatever they are doing. If it was black people here who are being driven by their own, agenda, they would have pushed them on the road, out of the road, immediately. Yeah. Absolutely immediately, with a lot of force, extreme force, because this is a highway. Remember, I told you, if you look at the Black Lives Matter, for example, the Black Lives Matter, they were not on a highway. These guys were in their suburbs. That is where they were demonstrating from, and they were camping and sleeping there. Can you imagine the force which they were using on them? Can you imagine the force which the police was using on these people, on the Black Lives Matter? Because they were driven by their own agenda, the agenda of the Black people. But because these people are being used, these are just being used by as tools by these forces, the CIA, FBI, and the United States, and all these hypocrites, the Congress. They're just using these guys for the interests of the United States to actually destabilize the whole of Africa. That is the interest that is behind, and that is how neocolonialism works. These are the workings, these are the strategies of neocolonialism. For those who still doubt, I want to remind you that the United States trained 3,000 people and put them on boats in the 1950s during the Bay of Pigs, the Bay of Pigs in Cuba. 3,000, and they were put on boats and they were sent to Cuba to try to overthrow the government in Cuba. That is the United States and the FBI and the CIA for you.
For you, yeah.
Those people who do not understand how the United States works, how the FBI, how their organizations are, how evil they are in their operations. This is how they work. So these events, I think, this event, I think we have to be very vigilant as Africans, and especially, try to scrutinize the information. Try to scrutinize the information. I think, Mahlet, let me just show one more time. We want to see this video of the Black Lives Matter.
Sure, definitely. That will help us.
Yes, that video of the Black Lives Matter. And actually, fortunately, the video of the Black Lives Matter, fortunately for us, the Black Lives Matter video is in the same spot where Seattle, in the same place in Seattle.
Wow, okay.
In the same place. That is the fortunate thing for us. And see how they treat the Black Lives Matter issue in Seattle. Look at how they treat them. So let me share the video. Mahlet, can you see it?
Yes, we have it now. And we have it here for the audience. Yes, we can see it. Yeah, this is not even a highway.
What's that? Hey, get back! Get back! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Keep moving!
Yeah.
So this is the United States. This is how it works. This is how imperialism works. So we have people in the same place, in the same region, in the same place, Seattle. this other group is in its own vicinity, you know, minor streets in its own area. These people are on a highway. Now, the other group is treated with a lot of force, extreme force. You see, and yet these people who are interfering with everyone else's movement, transport, communication, goods which are moving on the road, they are left to do even sit in the road. They are just being supervised. The other side, the police is putting on as if it is going to war, as if it's fighting in Iraq. You see, tear gas, rubber bullets, you know, all these guns, all kind of, you know, bullets are coming out. So this is how you know that what is behind these people is not, normal, is not themselves. They are not operating by themselves. So this is how you analyze neocolonialism, for you to understand that this is neocolonialism that is working. So behind them, there is something which is coming, that you are going to see. They are going to be bringing behind them some allegations. Let us persecute people, the leaders of the army who are, you know, that they were killing people. We should send them to the International Criminal Court. These are the things. These are the allegations which are likely to come with that. And we are speaking it here because those things will come, and then we will come here and people will remember what we said.
Interesting, very interesting analysis, you know.
Yeah. That is what I had for today, Mahlet, and I just wanted our people to be very vigilant so that they can be able to understand the workings of colonialism and neocolonialism. And all this is because of the desperation. You know, neocolonialism and these colonialists have reached a desperate point whereby now it's about recycling the methods which have failed, to see whether they will be able to catch anything good. So it's about recycling. So when we inform ourselves about what is happening, is the more we will be in a position to, you know, to protect our continent, to protect the whole African continent, actually, because they just recycle these things are the same. They are not going to do anything different. So what we are telling you here, those are the things which they are going to come up with. So we just wanted our people to be, you know, in the know about what is happening. Thank you very much.